Hi, welcome to another episode of The Writing Finger. My name is Subramani. I am joined today by my fellow book nerd, um, you know, word smith, and whatever you call Mr. Ashwin Karthik. And today we are going to have an extension of the topic that we spoke about in the last episode, which is basically about how we relate to writing, how what being a writer, you know, means to us. And I would say that you know it has various dimensions. And in fact, Ashwin and I, we've been kind of speaking about it off the screen, and what we realize is that there's lots of new dimensions to the aspect of why we are so strongly connected to the power of words. Okay, when you say the power of words, it's very irresistible. It's so it's so powerful in itself. um, but Ashwin, I think it goes beyond that. Writing uh, actually allows us to discover our inner voice, and writing allows us to be vulnerable, and writing has a healing quality to it. What do you say?
I cannot agree more to what you just said. The extensions of writing as a skill, are just beyond the expression and beyond just a bunch of words. Because, as you said, writing, has all these dimensions where it makes you vulnerable to a particular sensitivity or the
Yes.
situation. And I would say that when you are vulnerable to any particular condition or situation or any circumstance, it,
Yes.
it makes you that much more sensitive to the situation people around you are going through, which in turn turns you more human.
Absolutely.
That humane feeling of being able to um, relate to any person's problems or
Hmm.
troubles.
Yes.
That sensitivity in these modern times is kind of the world is losing it in some of the other way, and I feel writing will help us regain that
Hmm.
humane personality that the world needs more than ever
Ever,
now.
ever, ever. Yeah, I agree with you. And also, Ashwin, just take a deep breath. And it's so wonderful to say that we feel human today. Because think of our own stories. When I was told that I would become blind, there was a feeling that the humanity, the sense that I'm a human being, was actually robbed from me, because to be disabled is below human, subhuman. Sometimes it's at some levels it's not even human. In your case, I think probably I'll let you tell your own story of how what you were being told when your disability was discovered.
Definitely. This is a very powerful story, that I would share with the world today. That, when my parents took me to the neurosurgeon or neuros neurologists back in the day, 38 years ago. But when I was just one year old, they were pushed into the abyss of the ocean of depression by the doctor himself, by telling them that their son, that's me, would be nothing more than a vegetable or a living doll.
A
And
living doll. Oh my
yes,
goodness.
and just imagine a young mother and father were just basking in the happiness and joy of having a newborn baby, maybe 1 year old, and they were just waiting for him to start walking, taking steps into the real world,
Yes.
doing things, and they were numbed by this depressing sentence that I would not do anything but except to sit as dead weight, in the house. How depressing would it be?
It would
And
be, it would be, and also the fact that that you will not be, imagine people not even considering you as a human being because you have a disability. You are cast aside, and I would
yes,
I empathize with that experience, although yours is much more severe than my own. I would say that when the very fact that I became blind, or the fact that I was declared to be blind in a few years, uh, actually put me out of all normality. Before that, I was probably destined to be a chartered accountant. I was competing with the people of my own age inside the extended family, to be someone of value. But unfortunately, the very fact that I would be blind, uh, kind of I was put out into pasture prematurely. The fact that there's going to be nothing of that sort. You're not going to be useful to the world anymore. The
at
feeling
this
actually hurts.
point,
Mm.
at at this point, Subramani, I would share that my mother, who was extremely depressed for 3 4 months after the diagnosis of my disability. It was writing that helped her to regain kind of the lost confidence in her, and she actually wrote diaries.
Mm.
And she had started writing diaries after the diagnosis, and that uh, helped her rediscover her mental fortitude and strength with
Oh.
which with which she along with my father, made up her mind, and with a great determination, they made me what I am today. So I owe a lot of credit of my whole being today to the very diary that she started to write after the diagnosis of
Mm.
my disability. So imagine the of of
Of writing.
power of
Yes.
writing,
Absolutely.
which you uh, rightly said, that has the healing power. That's that's a living example
Yes.
of how words can help one heal from the greatest of wounds and the greatest of uh, uh,
Absolutely.
pain in life.
Absolutely. Yes. 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 And the second point, of course, Ashwin, is the fact that writing is probably the only tool that we have that has given us our voices. To discover your voice, in a metaphorical sense. In my case, in your case, actually, it's absolutely real. You discovered your voice. Through writing. Isn't that fantastic?
Absolutely. Just if anybody knew me, say 5 years ago, people outside my most intimate circles would hardly be able to understand my speech, and that also hampered my career growth, because
No.
I hardly had the confidence to share my ideas at my workplace.
Absolutely.
Because I was fearful that would the person I want to share my idea with would understand what I'm trying to say. And just imagine in a very competitive world out there when you are inhibiting yourself with the greatest of fears of not being understood or not being heard, it is difficult. In a lot of ways, when I started writing professionally,
Hmm.
it boosted my confidence a great deal, and it was only after that that I told myself that what can uh, go wrong if people don't understand you the first time. You can still repeat yourself and try
Yes.
to tell them in a different way, or maybe go with a written document. If at the worst case you can at least share it with them, and they would maybe
I
read
must
it
tell you
and
one story here. See,
yes,
writing actually disguise allows us to remain anonymous, but while we express ourselves. Uh, I entered the chambers of this famous newspaper long time back. This is about 22 years ago, and I told the editor who was sitting there that, sir, I want to write for your supplements and all that. And then he said, all right, do you have any prior experience? And I showed him a bunch of stories that I've already published in other newspapers. Then he sat up, literally sat up. How do I know that? Because I can hear the distinct creak of his the spring
chair,
chair,
yes.
creak. And then he asked me, "Are you Subramani? I mean, this Subramani who was published?" I said, "Yes, I am." And he said, "I never knew that you are blind." How's that? So
Exactly,
I feel,
exactly.
it is so. I think that was the most powerful self discovery moment for me, because that's when I realized that you can actually deliver something far more powerful than you think you're capable of. I think that's what writing does to us, right?
Absolutely. I can relate to the story you shared because now, from the past 5, 6 years, since I have rediscovered or regained my confidence of being able to communicate with people in my own ways, though sometimes I do. Say that my voice does get a bit slurred, but that now has does not deter me of being able to share and communicate my thoughts.
Yes, yes.
And now the situation now has turned on its head because when I work with teams in different time zones of China, Israel, US, or any other
Absolutely. My
country,
goodness.
people who have not seen me in person on a wheelchair hardly realize that I have a disability.
Whoa. You see, that's the power of communication, that's the power of writing. The third point, of course, Ashwin, is the fact that how writing has allowed us to be interactive. See, communication is always two ways. And when you write, when you express yourself, there's always a reaction, there's always a resonance. It has a resonance with people, and they respond to what you're saying. So that way, writing gives us the ability to be a bit more evocative and interactive with people. Otherwise, you know the feeling. You sit in a hall, and if people can obviously see our disabilities, they don't come and interact with us at all. But when you write, that's a different ball game altogether.
Absolutely. I mean, now I would certainly say that the situation of people with disabilities is changing in the horizon, and people are more sensitive and more aware of disabilities. But still, when you are able to communicate and share your thoughts, especially through words, um, because the words you write
Yeah.
will remain eternally in the history of time. It's a game changer for everybody in terms of interaction and society, social existence also.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Ashwin, that also has been a kind of an epiphany for us, because we think that we are dependent on others. But when you communicate, when you write, when you interact, when you evoke a response from the other side, you understand that we are not living in the world where we are dependent and the others are, sort of supporting us. That's not how it is. We live in the world of interdependency. You see, there are certain aspects of us where we are independent, and there are certain aspects of our lives where we depend on others for sustenance. I think it is we understand the universal truth of this reality, uh, you know, by being who we are, by being writers and being person with disability who voice our opinions, right?
Most definitely, right? And it's just not in the human society, right? If you look at nature, nature itself tells us or educates us about
Yes,
interdependence. You just look around and you will see that the sun makes the moon shine at night with his own
yes,
luminance, and the night is dark, and that is when you actually notice the stars.
yeah,
If
absolutely,
if at all night wasn't dark, yeah,
yes.
we would never have known the existence of stars themselves.
Yeah,
Right?
and the
So
moon depends on the sun for light, and the sun depends on the moon for giving us the light in the night. So there's always
absolutely
this coexistence. There's always this
coexistence, and
codependency in the
that
world.
that again, I would tie this the thought to our ancient culture, which had realized this whole interdependence way before science had even uh, taken breath.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that is the writing journey of myself and Ashwin, and also how important and how and dearly we hold writing as a skill, as a self-expression, as our powerful tool. I hope this episode has resonated with you. What is your own experience with writing, and how do you regard writing? The role of writing in your own life, or the power of words in your own life. If you're not a writer, I'm sure you're a reader. So put your comments in the comment section, and join us and have a fantastic interaction so that we understand each other much better. And thank you very much for listening to this episode. Thank you very much for watching us. As always, I'm going to give the last word to Ashwin, but from me, Subramani, goodbye.
And if you're not a writer, the turn is just round the corner. The writer is just within you. You need to unleash him of the shackles that you have put him or her under. So until we see you next time, just unshackle yourself. Keep writing, keep thinking, enjoy
And
yourself.
yes, enjoy
See you
yourself.
soon. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you.